So we're coming off of a big month, January, which is, all of the conventions and award shows. How was that for you this year?
I had an amazing time.
Yeah.
It's like one of my comebacks because last year I was still working some with companies and doing my own productions, but I took a lot of time, I would say time on myself that I didn't during the previous years. So I didn't really do the conventions last year's and the expos. So coming back this year, everybody seems so happy to be there, the fans. There was no drama, nothing. Everybody just, it was a good time. I had so much fun.
Let's take it back then. What was young Ebony like?
Young Ebony was very excited. Like I'm excited about anything that I'm doing that I love, but very excited, very I won't say naive, but I did not know the things that I know now about more like about professionalism of the industry because of course you think sex work, you're being filmed, this is easy. But taking yourself out of the action of sex and making this a profession and being very physically, you know how you have to be business minded at some point um, to have longevity in this industry or in any really, you should be financially educated about things. So young Ebony was just like, yay, a lot of yeses. A lot of yeses, like sure, yes. Now I have the option to like maybe that's not good for my brand. So maybe another time or let's talk about it later. Versus me before it was like very accessible and thinking that that's what I needed to be a star. And that worked. It didn't work.
How did that evolution occur? Was it through just certain experiences and then you figured out what is valuable to you?
The money made me very in the times. I came in during the COVID situation, like a lot of content creator, OnlyFans, sex working models, where there was a lot of money being generated. Um, and what I noticed then from now is I'm more, I'm not as frugal. Like I'm not gonna just because a lot of money's coming in, you have to pay taxes. You're an independent contractor. Like I have a CPA, like having an accountant. Back then, I was just making a lot of money, at a very fast pace too. So it was just more negligent as to like the lifestyle because I think you're thinking, okay, I got this money. I got another booking. It's like almost kind of living check to check. I wasn't using my mind or my opportunities then as a profession. It was just like, I like it. I'm having fun. They biting. They fucking with what I like. They fucking with me. It's easy. But now it's like, I'm still here. COVID is over. People are back, times have changed and you have to really take content creation professionally. And that's kind of how I started was professional, uh, working with top companies like Pinky Triple X, browsers. I was micromanaged from my start from Pinky Triple X and Jeremy Royal. They have their own management company. I was one of their top models and learned a lot from them as far as business because they were um, they did very well as an independent company.
So they gave you the structure then
They
that you
did
needed.
because otherwise, my even though I had all those yeses I was telling you about, very excited, like yes, I want to work with this person and everything's great and like everybody's great. This is all fun. They were at the back end approving even what I thought was cool. So if even though I may think this person's great, they also look at numbers and look at the things structurally and in a business in the porn industry that you should look at when you are in production, paying your talent versus collaborations. Because that way you own your own content because they come from a or company mindset.
Who are some of your influences, particularly even before coming into the industry?
Nina Simone, Asada Shakur, my dad, David Hilliard, he's Black Panther co-founder. Chiba Saf, Gabrielle Chanel. Uh, yeah, I can go on and on. Honestly, powerful women, Shit, if you think about it, Rosa Parks. Honestly, not in that way because who the fuck wants to take the bus? But in those times, she was like, not today. It was a moment like, I did it yesterday, but not today. You know, this being strong. Like, I like strong characters. So those are some of my like influences. Nina Simone is a big, she always has been. It was played in my house as a child. I seen her all over my home. I come from a Black Panther, Black family. So these people were very much from as far as I can remember around. And I always liked Nina a lot. Very outspoken and strong and resilient. My dad wasn't there. He was a staple. He's the Black Panther. My mom was in the party years ago. Here I am years later. And it was just my mom was very like conscious and she tried to remind me of being happy and proud that I was a Black girl and other Black girls are beautiful. Like Black culture was just part of my life, you know?
Yeah.
So the influence, I don't know. That's why I'm Ebony Mystique. Not only that, I could not keep the name Mystique thanks to X-Men, but a cease and desist years ago. But anyway, that was fun. It got big enough to where I couldn't use that name because it was Mystique. So we changed it to Ebony Mystique. But yeah, I don't know. I've always been Black and proud.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you feel like you had that activist spirit then in you?
I do. I think I'm more cordial than what my dad would be. I think times are not the same, and I think people don't listen the same as they used to. They're more comfortable. People are more comfortable in with their situations. So the need for change now is just like a TikTok or something. There was a huge need and people saw the needs. People are comfortable kind of in their situations in their day-to-day life. My dad was in people business. People aren't that nosy. I mean, they are if you fucking with their lawn or like you put trash on their shit, but like fighting for like everyone, you know, them do that at that level. I'm an activist because if I'm uncomfortable, like if I think the food's gross, I'm not gonna say it's gross. That's rude, but I'm just probably not gonna eat it. Like, what's wrong with the food? Oh, nothing. Read the room. Yeah, type shit.
Would you say that it taught you also how to be outspoken?
Outspoken people may not always consider what they're saying because they're so vocal about they're outspoken. I actually try to consider how one might feel about what I'm saying, you know, genuinely. And if I say something that maybe offended somebody and I can kind of feel that way or there's a point of it, at some point I'm pull them aside like to clear the air. So I think I care. I don't think I'm outspoken. I think that I'm just like real, like authentic.
Let's shift over to the pre-adult days. So what initially led you to pursue a career in nursing?
So that's something my mom wanted me to do. She was like a drug counselor, like into therapy work. So she wanted to be a nurse, but she got her job as it was. So she always wanted me to pursue that, maybe from her own seeing her dreams through me, which was fine. Because of course you can get a job any and everywhere for nursing. So I was cool with that. I went to medical school. That was the plan for me to be a doctor. I decided that, okay, we might as well go the full thing. Went through my whole years of medical school, got to my first year of residency and hated it. Did not want that type of, I don't know, I didn't want to be that girl. So I had enough credits to become a nurse. I took the boards and I passed the first time and I became an RN and worked in all kinds of nursing um, fields through my career.
I know your mom kind of influenced that decision, but was that something that you also wanted to do? And did you feel the connection to the work?
When I was in medical school, I also became a CNA. So I began to work on my own, you know, and can make my own money as a certified nurse assistant. So me working in the hospitals and with different clients, I seen how the nurses will flow versus the doctors, and that probably influenced my reason to just step out of medical school and become a nurse because the nurses are more hands on. They kind of run the show a little bit. I just liked it. I like their uniforms too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
What were some of the different fields that you worked in?
Oh, I've done critical care, travel nursing, correctional facility nursing. I've done OB. I've done psychiatry. I've done neurology. I've done private clients. I've done administrative work in the nursing care home. I've done it all. Only thing I haven't done that I thought I would want to do was pilot nursing. You know, flight nurses. That if you get in a car accident, God forbid, not you, but somebody, and they got to come down and pick you. Yeah, those nurses that go up. I wanted to do that, but I'm scared of heights, so I just forget about it.
It's like extreme nursing.
Yeah.
How is the money in nursing compared to, I mean, at least you know that there's consistency there,
Money's
but
good.
compared to adults.
Money is very
Yeah.
good. I don't all nurses, doctors probably say the same thing, but it doesn't become about the money if you love it and you care about people. They
Mhm.
don't pay you enough. But I work for, excuse me, for Kaiser, which they pay their nurses very, 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 very well. Very well. And so very good. The pay was good. But you still have to be mindful of the finances and make sure you pay your taxes on time and maybe buy houses. I think a lot of nurses have get into real estate
Uh-huh.
for that reason. That's how we talk at the nurses station, especially with my lovely Filipino nurses.
Shout out to the Philippines.
Shout out to my Filipino, that booyah. Because otherwise you get caught up in just working, even though you're making money and you're feeling good about your job, it's
Mm,
white collar, you get caught in that job for years. They retire there. They be 70 years old, been there for 50 years.
yeah.
Seriously.
Let's segue then into your jump into adults. I guess it only comes off as more of a jump just because the two industries are just so vastly different.
Sound like my mom.
But how did that work?
COVID.
Okay.
I had just transferred out of the hospital work into the nursing call center. So I was an advice nurse. So if you call the hospital, if you had this service, you call the hospital, you don't know if you want to go to the ER, you need an appointment, they'll connect you to a advice nurse. So that was me on the line. And then COVID happened where because I was newly in that position, even though I had seniority at Kaiser, I didn't have seniority in that position. So I had very limited options for staying at that job without, like, taking unemployment at the highest level, of course,
Mhm.
because this is a facility where everybody's here, we all gotta stay home. So they was trying to give those jobs on the phone to the nurses with the higher seniority, which I didn't fit. So I was like, "Ooh, that's weird." And that was before, the general public actually knew about, COVID but we didn't know that we was gonna be in the house for all that long. But we were having like so frontliners get a lot of information sometimes before the general public, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I remember calling Pinky Triple X and like, girl, y'all be careful about this coronavirus because this, that, and the third. But just in case, because they're talking about some of the nurses have to maybe stay home and get unemployment. These are my options. I want to shoot porn. And she was like, what? And mind you, I've known her a long time already, so I would joke about it. Like, I could do what you do. Like, I have my little body then. I think I'm cute. Like, I could do that. She'd be like, girl, stay a nurse. She never paid me no mind. But this time, she took me seriously for whatever reason. I never even know to this day why this moment, maybe like, because I was dead serious. Like, I want to come shoot. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I want to shoot porn. She was like, we had a little conversation, and she booked me. And that scene went so viral.
Yeah.
That's like my first scene. That's kind of the start of young Ebony from nursing to porn.
Was that a calculated decision? Like, did you or what do you feel looking back like it was more in the moment?
I think I would have been a nurse POV and doing porn. Honestly, if it wasn't for COVID. That's why I like the world. Even the haters, the people that act like they hate haters love you anyway. That's why they watching you. But the people that have the balls to do stuff, we do it. The people that don't and want to do it, they always be like scary or like they feeling judgmental. They never do what they want to do. They never fulfill their dream. Nurses, because they nurses, we be talking about being strippers, really nice doctors that will fuck. Nurses don't kill me. I mean, shit, you're there for 12 hours. People are well. Thank God your patients are doing well. Now you're just sitting here charting. You're done with your charting. We're going to have a conversation. What else we going to do? So yeah, women, we nurses, they be thinking about being sexy because it's not a sexy
Mm,
job.
it's not.
Even some nurses really put their makeup on, look very pretty. But for Dr. Hank to be like, or Dr. Dickey to be like, hey, nurse vagina, you look amazing today. You look so hot and sexy. That's like a sexual assault. You in the nursing office about to get fired. It's just not a place where you could beautify yourself or feel beautiful, you know? But the good part was that I love people.
Mhm.
See, that's where I'm today. I love people, so I'm a caring person just by nature. So I was able to be like a really good nurse,
Yeah.
you know, because I actually cared. Because the money wasn't enough. The shit that I seen, how do you pay for that? Like, are you okay? Like, but it was the part that I really cared to see people do well.
Yeah.
And it helped me with porn because I know anatomy very well.
After your scene went viral, with Pinky Triple X, then what happened after that?
I told her to take that shit off the internet after she paid me a whole lot of money. And she told me when I said we had a little conversation, the main thing I can remember about that conversation on the phone was, if your mom find out, what you gonna do? Because if you think that you wanna do porn and you wanna be somebody Brazilian in porn, like a big porn star, your mom gonna find out. That mean you made it more than likely. Your mom find out. How did it get on your mom's desk? So what you gonna do about it? Anyway, my mom found out. And I told her, take that shit down. Erase it. It was too late anyways. But off her site, she did. Maybe so I went back to work anyways after that shoot, thinking nothing of it. She called me and kept telling me, the fans keep asking about you. Like, I want to shoot you again.
Yeah.
Cause now she thinking her business mind too at work.
Right.
But I was like, but my mom. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Cause now the real quarantine shit is popping off. Like they literally is like, okay, it's real. Y'all gotta have to stay home. Everybody. I was like, all right, let's wear a mask. And I did.
Mhm.
And then I shot another scene. So 2 scenes in that day for her site. That shit went so viral that it did not work. Everybody knew it was me. By my tattoos,
Oh, yeah.
all that
Yeah.
shit. It was like, so, and by then my mom had found out. So after that, I didn't care no more. I was just like, I gotta be at home. The world is hella weird. COVID, whatever the fuck. I'm about to go ahead and just go full throttle with this. So they booked me again and it just get it better and better and better.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much the story about that. Next thing you know, 6 months in, I'm making more money than I made nursing in a year in 6 months, way more. And I'm contracted to one of the top adult film companies in the industry, which is Browsers. So
Yeah.
it just all was. Then the next thing you know, I'm the Billboard girl for AVN. Then I got the cover. It's just all wild, fast, crazy. So I was feeling good about the transition. There was no time to really think about what was going on. I just had to be present in what was going on. By the way, my mom's fine now. She's not a porn mom, but she know what I do.
Mhm.
And her last mean or like weird word was like, "Don't catch nothing." I was like, "Mom, you don't," because she goes out. She be going hiking with this group of people. They singles, and it be men's on there.
How did she find out about you?
Okay, my twin uncles, her twin brothers told them, both of them. So you know what they be watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And, was there, like, judgment?
She thought I was smoking that stuff.
Mhm.
She's like, "You okay? You on drugs or something?" That's the first thing she thought because, initially, she doesn't understand what it all means that I'm doing adult film, like porn.
Mhm.
So she, you have all these judgments or she don't know. So I had to show her what it was. I still was able to help her retire, which was one of my things I was going to do in nursing anyway.
Mm.
She seen how I was still living, to each his own, but I'm not doing the things probably she thought in her mind is very demure and mindful. I just had to show her real quick so she could now. I think parents, like I said before, uh, they just want to make sure their kids is doing well, no matter what they doing.
She just needs to come out to one of the shows so she can actually get a real snapshot of really what this culture in this industry.
Maybe one of our shows.
Yeah, the business shows, not so much the fan show.
No, 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 no. She
No.
don't need to. 'Cause
We're not gonna send her.
I might not be able to find her.
So how has your background in nursing played a role in especially the rigorous testing that's involved for adult talent?
You know, when I was a nurse, I probably was more frisky than I was now. I would hook up with guys, fuck them. Now I'm more safe. Actually, the industry has taught me more, even being in the medical field. I'm able to understand STDs, antibiotics that you may have to take from side effects. That's what the nursing department have given to me. But the industry, when I was a civilian, a nurse, I was not getting tested every 7 to 14 days. I was getting tested if I had symptoms or something,
Yeah.
or somebody told me to go get tested. So I feel like the industry has even taught me more about sexual health and education and being more adamant about knowing your status, your partner's status than before.
Yeah. There definitely seems to be just a general lack of awareness and education among the general population on the subject of testing. Why do you think that is, though? Why do you think people are so hesitant to just go get tested?
Maybe they not hesitant enough. Maybe they just not educated enough. Back in the days when they had all this stuff on the TV about condoms and AIDS and this and that and the third, people were more, it was in the front of their minds. So they were more using condoms or thinking about it. But the world is controlled by social media and we don't really see that stuff. It's not a topic of conversation. It's not about sexual safety.
So, what has your experience been as a talent several years in now? And in terms of like testing, what has that been like for you?
It's just part of my life, my lifestyle. Every 7 to 14 days, I just go. It's not like a big deal. You get some swabs, you get your urine. It's like you don't wait all day. It's like in and out. It's normal. I feel good doing it.
Did someone like tell you that, okay, this is what you have to do?
Mm,
Is it usually like the studios or the people you're working with that are
Studio
going?
definitely tell you, but I like Pinky Triple X from the beginning. Like my first shoot, they brought me to talent testing and I got tested. So it was just something I always knew that this is what the industry does. And being respectable of the industry, the profession of the industry is something that is like normal if you work here.
So, is that something talent typically have to factor into their budget then, as far as like testing, if they know that they have a shoot coming out, is set aside?
If you work far, more than 20 miles, that's your job. How you gonna pay your rent? How you gonna get there without a car or a plan of Uber or bus?
Hmm.
If you work in the industry, the sex industry, it is illegal, if you think of it, if you will, to shoot without a test, a current test. It's not safe. It's not fair. It's not smart. Yeah, all those things. So just considering that, because just imagine if you catch something that you can't fix.
Yeah.
Who you gonna blame but yourself? It's something for you that also bleeds off to someone else. You got to make sure you're safe in order to keep them safe, and vice versa, because it's risque.
And you would think too, just with your scene partners and whatnot, like you have an agreement. It might not be a verbal agreement to like, okay, let's keep each other safe. Do you feel that way, like across the industry with different people that you have worked with, that like safety has been a top priority?
Pretty much everybody I work with have been for professional, and been in the industry, so they kind of all think the same way I do about it.
Hmm.
However, is risky. Is no 100%. That's the, I guess, sacrifice that I take for entertaining people in this in with what I do for my work.
Hmm.
Um, but I will hope, it's more of a hope. And I do know there is a protocol in a way that we make sure that the test is accurate. You should know how to read what you looking at and give it to the Lord, I guess. I'm not sure how else to say it. But it is something that you do understand coming into this type of work, that it's not 100% that even though you do have a test with somebody, you do see the test that they are being 100% valid in that test. Some people get tested, as human beings do, hook up with somebody,
Hmm.
come back to test the same test, but it's not the same test. But to each his own. I just try, and for me personally, I try not, when I'm like booked as hell, I try not to uh take out of account someone else. So I'm not about to be loosey when I have like 6 shoots in the next 14 days. I have to, plus I gotta preserve my walls anyway. So yeah, they are, just if people kind of think about the other person themselves, I think it'd be cool. But for the most part, we do have a system in place that
Mhm.
people follow and take it seriously. Yeah.
Do you feel that our system is safe as it is now? Like, do you feel it can allow you to perform confidently?
I feel good.
Yeah.
Knowing it's, not looking at somebody test is current. I feel better than not seeing it at all. Because if I don't see it at all, we not fucking. That's just how it goes. It's just my mindset. And I feel the same way off camera too. If I have a partner or something like that and they want to get busy, yeah, we're going to get tested. Like, why not? Right. It's just a moment in time. Get tested.
You were very outspoken during a moratorium that happened a couple of years ago when there was a breach.
It was a few things, more or less chlamydia and gonorrhea.
You were very active during that time. Can you talk to me a little bit more about what was going on and how you really engaged with the community at that time too?
So basically, what happened was, I'm trying to do it the short story. I was on set. I did a scene, very big scene. I had no symptoms. My scene partner called me and told me that she had had something and that I should go get tested. But when I go get tested, I need to ask for the swabs. That was the key, the swabs, because she went to her private doctor and they did the swabs. Okay, fine. So when I went to talent testing to check on myself, the normal thing at that time was just blood and urine, no swabs. That wasn't part of the full panel. And I go in there and I ask them for the swabs. Lo and behold, I had the shit. I was unclear.
Okay.
No symptoms at all.
Mhm.
If she never called me and told me to get the swabs, I would have never known I had it, number one. And number two, my urine and blood test was cleared.
Which
So
was more of the standard in our
at that time,
okay,
at that time,
at the time.
it was standard, just blood and urine. So I was cleared to work, but burning like a motherfucker, in other words. So that caused me to, and I'm contracted at this time. I got so much work to do. This is crazy for me. And so I'm going through things. Of course, when you get something like that, you shouldn't shame yourself, maybe. But I did. I felt dirty. Just what the fuck? Oh my God. So I went through that phase, which caused me to ask my friends, how do you work Twitter spaces? They got this thing on Twitter where you can talk. And then people come on and they just talk too. And I didn't know how to work it, but they showed me and I just started talking. And the next thing you know, it became weeks of talking with other people, the past, which is the industry government, it, it's industry government, FSC, companies, performers, just all coming together. It got very, very big. I became a part of the past government at that time where we mandated the swabbing on the full panel.
Okay.
So people would say that I was kind of the start of this. What I would say was everybody. I just was more confused as to what the fuck, how did this happen? Because my thing was, we're super safe.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to go through this judgment of, are we, aren't we? Like, do I have anything else? Like, that's what I was going through in my head. But it was just the fact that we weren't doing a certain thing that we needed to do. And it was just really like, educating people. So other performers would come on the spaces. We're telling them to go get swabbed. This was before the mandate, which helped the mandate because the people are actually now getting swabbed and finding that they are unclear to work.
Okay.
Those symptoms mainly, most of the time. So yeah, yeah. So that's how that kind of happened. My own, I guess my own personal thing. I wasn't afraid to talk about it. I just wanted to know what the hell It was really like I had no plan. I didn't even know how to word spaces. I just started talking,
Yeah.
and other people started talking, and it became a thing.
Yeah. So in a way, do you feel like, because you were processing, having this, dealing with your health matters at the same exact time. So do you feel like this was more of a reaction and a way of coping is to just engage with
It
the community?
definitely was.
Yeah.
It definitely was, and I found that for a lot of people, it was the same because them too also would some would find that they were unclear to work. So they're also at the moment affected. And we were able to like talk about this and like, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah.
Even educating because, that means there's no solo work either. Let's not get that confused. Is you're unclear to work with someone else, that means you're unclear to work with yourself because you can auto inoculate, you can transfer what's in here to here with toys and things like that. So it was another educational feast and had a lot of we had a Jamie, the NP, works for the industry, and we had doctors and Empower Labs. It was very informative, and it gave people a safe place to kind of talk and figure it out.
Uh, what was the feel of the performer sector at that time? Were people fearful? Were people like, did you sense that people were
They were listening.
okay?
They were because now there's a moratorium. I think the moratorium was held for like I think 30 days. It was like a long moratorium. So
Yeah.
everybody's at home. So we're just on Twitter talking and it gave people like a place to just like talk
Mhm. And
and
process.
get education.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And that became then the new standard, was swabbing?
Yeah, they put swatting as part of the full panel.
Okay. Then most companies have adopted.
Oh, so you do read me well. That's what that was about. Yeah, because it is supposed to be mandated, but there may be some cracks as there are in anything. Uh, again, lack of education,
Mhm.
possibly. Um, but that's the point. You should always kind of do your research and stay updated. I remember when I was
Yeah.
actively nursing, even now, I still hold my nursing license. I'm just retired from the action of nursing. They every 2 years you have to do credentials and read literature and keep credits, and it's the same. Like you have to keep yourself updated.
Yeah.
There's new shit happening all the time.
But be an advocate for yourself at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you're several years into the industry at this point. What, knowledge would you like to impart on performers in this industry, particularly, women of color who are working as independent talent? What advice would you have for them at this point?
I would just say, do what feels good to you, and treat whatever you're doing, especially if you're monetizing from it, which is a blessing. Treat it as a profession. Doesn't matter if you black, white, red, or it doesn't matter. That's with anybody, but particularly women of color, browns, people that are Caucasian, I would say. I don't know. I think that maybe utilize some of the things they do, even in your own thing, if you're paying attention anyway. Because some people just work hard. They work hard, but they don't make the work hard. Does it make sense? It's not hard work. I am enjoying what I'm doing. You guys, I'm just benefiting from my fruits of the labor. It's like I'm having fun. I'm happy what I'm doing. When you become more like unhappy and feeling forced into something or whatever the case may be, the why becomes no why. You're just doing it and there's no fun in it. It becomes dark and really you're intoxicating. It's all kind of shit that happens, and that's the advice I will give. If you're gonna do this, that, or the third, just make sure that you wear it on on your sleeve. You're very confident about it, and you take it seriously because it is you. It's not somebody else. People tend to look at everybody else, and then that's how they can bicker between themselves if they're good enough because they look at someone else's doings and attributes. Look at your, like you said, look at yourself. Pay attention to yourself. Be confident. Do your research. It's really not that difficult. People complicate simple things. I really feel like that's not that hard. They make it hard, really, because it's already like a protocol. There's already like a mold in place. Kind of don't go out of those lines and go hard for yourself. Be financially adequate. Get some help if you don't know, because taxes are a bitch. And yeah, just that's really it. Be you, and that's that. They either not love it or not. Who gives a fuck? If nobody watch my shit, I still probably do the shit. Wanna why? 'Cause I'm having fun. It's fun. That's why. I'm glad you guys do, by the way. But I'm just saying, cause I like it. I'm meeting nice people. I cancel the ugly people, the ones that aren't too nice.
Yeah.
I feel autonomous. I feel beautiful, loved, all that shit. Girl power. I'm gonna be doing more like health education, be a little bit more appropriate. We do have some things coming up for you that you're gonna love in a very appropriate and professional setting, because I do want you guys to be very aware and being safe. And sex is super normal and super exciting, and I just want everybody to have a good time, and yeah, have a good time without antibiotics, maybe.
Ebony Mystique, thank you so much for joining me today.
Cut.
We did it.
Yeah.
Slut power.